Hello everybody. Today is going to be a quite interesting tutorial. Actually, this is about something that I'm not used to really work on. It's something that I usually do when I'm, not busy on beading and creating standard jewelry. This is also because it's summertime, so it's not always easy, especially in Italy, because it's really warm. Sitting there and sewing, and I just I just enjoy doing things that do not require too much of attention and concentration and focus. So this is my experiment result. Something I've been doing with using some very interesting material that I figure out. First of all, resin, and I'm going to show you how this came out. I've also seen other users on YouTube creating very nice cabochon and beads using resin, but in this case I've also added another very amazing material which I found out thanks to my sister. Actually, I will explain you why later. And this is the result of my experiment. It has They all have some, very shiny and multicolor light. They almost, I could say they almost look three-dimensional somehow. So a lot of people have been asking how I have been achieving such effect. And you can also see this in this transparent one. So I've decided to go ahead and explain what I've been doing for that. So there you go, this is the secret ingredient. It's actually something called fantasy film. It's a synthetic plasticky film used for many different applications, such as scrapbooking, or the way I found it out is because friends and my sister as well, they create fantasy characters or like fairies, and this particular film is used for creating wings. So if you try and Google, you will find many results for how to use this kind of material. So I will put in the info box where you can buy it. I used to be able to find it on eBay, but I've also found another website that will sell this. It's not very expensive, and it has very different shades of colors. So in this case, I actually got it from my sister, so I didn't really buy this one. Also because it was an experiment. So in particular, well, the film is smooth, but if you kind of scrunch it in your hand, basically the result will be very nice to see, as you see now, but the shape it has doesn't really matter as well, just it has to be random. But when then we're going to use it to create cabochon, then that's where the more messy this will be, the best result you will have. As I said, you will find different colors. In this case, it's a light color. It's called Aurora. But you have blue, pink, green, all sort of shades. So you just choose the one that you prefer. As I said, I'm gonna let you, leave you the link below the video so that you can find out where to buy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you which are the tools I'll be using for these tutorials, and I hope you enjoy. And of course, if you have questions or any issues or doubt, again, don't worry, just get in touch. Another thing is, this is my first experiment, so I'm not with resin, so I'm not an expert. So please forgive any mistakes, or if you need very specific questions, I'll pass it on to somebody that is more competent and expert than me. But I hope you enjoy, and speak to you soon. So, in order to create a fantasy cabochon, first of all I've used this kind of material. This one is resin. Is made up of two components, A and B. So you just mix up the two components in order to create a solid resin effect. I've been asking for advice from the seller. You can find this on any kind of craft stores, either online or in your, in your area. I also need some plastic cups, some wooden sticks, which is actually skewers sticks I have in my kitchen. As I said, the main ingredient, the secret ingredient, is fantasy film in a light shade. And then again, this is a mold for cabochon. So again, make sure you're using gloves, that you are in a ventilated room, or better if you have a garden or you can work outside, because resin is obviously a chemical ingredient, so make sure you're safe. So mixing up the resin to part A and part B in the cup, and try to be as tidy as possible. Pour it in each, just a little bit. You don't need to fill it up, just in each part of the mold. So as I said, you just try and fill it up. It's going to be probably less than half size. So just like that. And then aside, I prepared some pre-cut fantasy film, which has already been scrunched in my hands, in a similar shape. You can see, just, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just so that it covers most of the area. Just trying to focus as much as possible on this operation. And there you go, this is kind of a drop shape. So you just grab a wood stick at this stage and try to just fix it as much as possible so that it's centered within the shape, and try to sink it a little bit more so that the fantasy film sinks down, and get rid of any air bubble that you may have. So it goes down very gently underneath the layer of resin. Of course, make sure you don't have any air bubbles, because that wouldn't look too nice at the end. And you just go ahead and do the same for the other shapes. So you have two options now. After the film is well set within each shape and the air bubbles removed, you have two options, as I said. First of all, you can either go ahead and add the remaining transparent resin, or you can let it dry for 5 to 6 hours. Or after drying, you can add a layer of colored resin at the back of this. So I would suggest the second one, just because the final effect is just more vibrant. So the best way in this case, after letting it dry for a few hours, leaving it transparent as it is, with this very, very shiny reflex in it. and paint the back with some colored enamel or metal effect, even stuff, nail polish, anything that you can have. Just use, creativity, and I'm pretty sure you'll be amazed with the result of. So this is just after a few hours. I'm sorry about it, it's quite dark, but I just can't move. I can't move the mold at the moment. It's just in my kitchen now. So I'm just let it dry for a while. I just also created another one separately with less resin. And in this one I will create the experiment with the darker resin so that you can see the difference between not using it and just painting it with some polish, and the other one with dark resin. So there we are, a few hours gone, and it actually got, the resin is like real plastic, it's quite solid. So these ones are still transparent because just as they are, I just took them out, and this one wasn't really in a proper mold, so it's not very shiny, while instead the transparent one we used in a proper mold for resin, and they are more shiny. So this dark one, I've done some darker resin on the back, so you can see that it looks kind of bluish and dark, while you can see the other ones here with transparent effects. You can actually see there is something inside, given some special light, but it's not really interesting to see, in my opinion. So I want to go ahead and just use some random nail polish which has some metal effect. These are from an Italian brand called Kiko, which is quite popular in Italy, and I do like this kind of nail polish for me as well. They're called duochrome, but any brand would do. Up to your taste, really. They are very, very pigmented, so I would suggest selecting this kind of very intense, vibrant colors. So I just turn each cabochon and paint the back. So just there you are. So as you can see, it's a big difference. They are just the same, I just showed you, just with a layer of nail polish on the back. And you can see so many different shades of color. So that depends both on the kind of fantasy film color and the nail polish shade that you used on the back of it. And I would suggest to use metal nail polish, metal effect. So I've used some matte ones here, but you see it's different. I wasn't impressed with that. It looks like paper. It's not exactly what I really. It's a bit dull, I would say. So that you can see, in advance how it's going to look. In this case, I've used some lilac matte shade, white one for this one. While this one, they were very pigmented because of metal effect. So they create this multi-dimensional effect for it. So you can just also, if you don't have fantasy film, you can just even create a transparent ones and just a simple plain one, and just use the nail polish on the back to create an effect of three dimension. In this case, I didn't really cut the film properly for this one, so the fantasy film raised up to the surface. So even if I tried to use some sandpaper to sand it, then still the light is a bit different. It looks like there are some holes. So just make sure, don't do like I did, just make sure you coat it properly before you apply them within within the mold. So that's it. I hope it was useful for you. And again, if you had any questions,